All right, good evening and welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer League match, this time between Sealed W and Double Dippers. We got Pikapals and Swagalicous with a key sanity seed for us tonight. I'm joined by Swerb. I am Lumaga. Swerb, how you doing?
Yo, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today?
Doing great. So this is game 3 between these two, isn't that correct?
It's the second game, but it is game 3. That, makes sense.
Right, so yeah, these teams have played once before, but games 1, 2, and 3 can be played in any order, so a bit throwing me off there.
Yeah, it's actually our second game. Yesterday was Nabs versus Edda, and Nabs taking the first victory for CLW. So it's 1-0 on the series here. Yeah, with Pikapals and Swagalicous for technically game 3, but it's second game, and game 2 will be me versus Moogle Charm tomorrow at, I think, the same time.
All right, should be getting started in just any second now. What are we, you know these players probably a little bit better than me. What are we looking at for these two runners today?
That's a good question, because I don't know exactly what answers you're looking for here, but these are the power players, which means that the higher seed, which in this case was CLW, so Pikapals, had the choice of settings for this race. And I believe we are looking at a random swords open mode with full key sanity shuffle on. Defeat Ganon, so not all dungeons.
Yep, should be that mode, and there's our first key, small key to Thieves Town. Both deciding to do Link's House and Uncle right away. Get a good quick 2 checks. Ice Rod on Uncle.
Well, that's a potentially very annoying item out of the way, so that's always good to find that early. Even if, 20 minutes from now, well, we might not have the map, so we don't know. Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow. All right, so you got your Moon Pearl.
Sure do. Already seen some divergence here. It's that full magic and some bombs and ice rod. Yeah, going right into escape after checking Uncle does not seem like a bad idea. But yeah, Pika opting to save and quit, head to Sanctuary and finding the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, very possible to check Lumberjack's item right here. And you're right, Swagalicous probably did opt for this just because he got that full magic with the ice rod. Bombs are not the most desirable start for escape, but you're gonna go for it if you got a chance for it, I guess.
Yeah, bombs are a weird one. Like, they're not slow if you're actually good and you know bomb strats for escape, which some people do, especially like when we had the standard tourney, like a year and a half back, whenever that was, when we first introduced like random starting weapons. So a lot of people picked up some bomb strats for these rooms, but that ice rod does some wonders against these guards in these rooms too.
Yep, quite a bit of money here in the Lost Woods for Pikapals, picking up 300 in the drop. Swagalicous, not finding anything really progression-wise so far.
And there's this lovely ice rod strat. That's always like, I don't know, that's just fun.
Yeah, that is absolutely an entertaining strat to see.
Not getting much reward out of there, just a blue rupee and Zelda cell. But yeah, you can freeze enemies and throw them at others, and that does tempered sword damage, so throwing that frozen guard will take down the BNC in 2 hits.
Kakariko seems like the obvious choice here. Have bombs, it's an early check, and coming up with a red boomerang and half magic out of Blind's Hut. Good start for that.
Nothing super useful. Well, nothing like absolutely necessary or super important, but we did get some useful stuff out of there. The 100 rupees is nice. I mean, Pikapals already got 450. But that means he can like toss that hundo right over to Bottle Merchant, get that item, and he's well on his way for enough Zora money whenever that check comes into play.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta throw it a little over the side.
Yeah, danger.
Blowing
did get
himself
that
up.
bow. Yep. So not sure just how useful that bow is going to be early on. It's a great weapon to have, but don't know if we'll need to go to Eastern and pick up that power glove.
Yeah, so some nice helpful stuff like the half magic and Blind's Hut, but the real progression over and well there with the bow and gloves. Yeah, that does open up a full clear of Eastern, which since it's Key Sanity and we don't have many maps, we don't really know if that's going to be a pendant or crystal. But that, again, since it is Key Sanity, that does mean 6 items available in there.
And do not have access to Armos just yet. That big key is going to be somewhere else in the world.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just said Key Sanity, and I didn't even think about the big key with blocking off 2 items. But we do, already have a glove and a moon pearl 5.5 minutes in, so we're just another glove or a hammer away from Dark World access.
Ooh, interesting key up on there. Pikapals was thinking of going straight for that item. Seeing it's a small key, I'm sure he's going to do it now.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about Key Sanity and these small keys. You can't differentiate between them. So unless you're in the late game and you have all the small keys you need, you got to take your time and come collect these.
And want to welcome everybody coming in from SpeedGaming 6. You're joining us with a Link to the Past Randomizer seed in second round of the playoffs. CLW versus Double Dippers tonight. Second game between these two.
Yeah, unfortunately that small key on race game, just being a small key for Ice Palace, which is not absolutely required, can be a little bit helpful for routing that depending on whether you're doing Icebreaker or if you need to do a bomb jump, so it could come in handy. But overall, not really what you want to see when you're grabbing mysterious small keys.
Yeah, Ice Palace especially. Speaking of Ice Palace.
Wow! If only that was Bombos instead of Ether, that would have been like the Ice Palace starter kit right there.
Exactly. I was actually just going to mention, you never are guaranteed to have Canis and Mario when you go to Ice Palace, but lo and behold.
Alright, and we do have Swagalicous going straight into the race game, not going to take his time to check the item like Pika did, so he's going to make up several seconds there. To be honest, I feel like in Key Sanity, I typically like just going for the item, especially because you just have like a decent chance of there being a small key.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, that early on, you don't know if you're going to need that small key or not, so you have to grab it.
Right. It does make it a bit more enticing. That plus dungeons, as you mentioned, each dungeon now has an additional 2 items plus in it. So dungeons are very valuable to dip here in Key Sanity.
Oh, and there's our Dark World access with the mitts, and there's a fire rod. Huh.
And a couple of small keys. Really good start here. So that's our Dark World access. Plus, well, Fire Rod is good, but I guess I was going to say Skull Woods. You do need a sword to get back to the back of it.
Absolutely. But we will be able to check 6 of the items as of right now. But definitely want to wait until we get a sword to go over there. Yeah, and finding both rods and Samaria already. For typically some later game items.
Yeah, did someone say Trinex? That's also a Turtle Rock starter kit as well.
Yes. We're gonna need to find a bunch of keys, but we'll see. Hey, the single arrow. The long walk over the ice cave for the single arrow. Yeah, hate to see it.
Someone's got to do it. All right, Swagalicous going to pick up his cache of progression here in Mini Moldorm. Pikapals back to the Sanctuary. Probably going into Dark World with those mitts now.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Usually when you get that Dark World access, you want to go there ASAP unless you have pressing matters. And at this point, we're only 10 minutes in, but Pika doesn't have a ton of other options. Like, he could go to the front of the escape, but he already looted the back and found a lot of good items. And we did see Swagalicous do the front of the escape and not finding really anything useful. So Pikapals can definitely save some time there if he just never does that. He also had the option of Eastern and Sahasrara, which is a good group of items. But at this point with that bow already, he wants to probably hold out until he finds that big key and can full clear it.
Yeah, a lot of ways you could route a lot of items really efficiently if you found enough keys for Pod and Eastern, plus a mirror to get them both. There's your flippers.
And some money. So Pikapal's got all the money he needs for the rest of the seed. So that and the flippers could be a Zora trip. There's a bottle. Skullwood's paying off pretty nicely so far.
Yeah, all you need is a hammer, and then you're enticed to go to Ice Palace. Hook shot too.
Wow, this is loaded. Well, there's like half of our Swamp Palace items.
Yeah, what is this?
That mirror and that small key and the hammer.
We're 11 minutes in, by the way.
Yeah, just by the way. Alright, yeah, I like this. I'm glad that Pika is just weaving. He could have gone a little deeper into Skullwoods, gotten that vanilla big key chest in the middle for another item, and technically the small chest in the back. But those are pretty slow checks. So again, he's probably just wants to hold out for at least a sword to finish out that dungeon.
Mm-hmm. All right, Hobo telling us where the boss of Ice Palace or Palace of Darkness is, and Swagalicous fake flippering back into the water. Has the Moon Pearl, so he can do the Waterfall Fairy. Not enough money if he wants to get up to Zora, though.
Yeah, Swagalicous just being 23 rupees short here. This is always a bit dicey. I'm really hoping he finds a little bit of money back here in the Waterfall Fairy or something. Just because it's nice to find that money. Like, I don't know, it just always feels bad coming up here without being able to check Zora.
Well worth it for that big key. No money yet. Thinking about his next move.
Looks like he's trying to check the stun drop here. It's the vanilla single green root means you'd have to kill another 22 enemies to get enough money, so there's your save and quit.
Yeah, definitely not worth. Pikapals making his way through the last of the 4 chests. Did find 1 1/4 heart pieces in the front of Thieves Town. No big key, so gonna dig a death warp.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of just checking the front 4 of Thieves Town in, normal modes. But once you're in key sanity and you're kind of locked out of the back without that big key, might as well just treat that like overworld, clear that out.
And Swagalicous, 2 mitts, not checking the back of escape now. So we did get a mitt pretty early, and Pikapals did go to the back of escape, found Ether Medallion, Samaria, and the Ice Palace big key. Swagalicous not yet getting it.
Yeah, again, thankfully those are kind of late game items. Samaria and Ether, just potentially Ether for the entry to Mire and Turtle Rock, but both of those items just relevant to those dungeons. So as long as he can really route that in just about any time before he, at least before he's considering going to those places, and he should be all right.
South checks of Dark World, minus K45, no mirror to get over there, so we'll see Stumpy and Hype Cave for sure out of Pikapal's end.
Yeah, Swaga just doing Village of Outcasts, open up the Thieves Town. So I imagine he's gonna at least open up or head into Thieves Town, clear out those front. And then we'll have to see if he's going to head north or south. I'd kind of like to see him go north into Skull Woods to get that hookshot and flippers.
And a bottle. We don't know what's on Sick Kid just yet.
Yeah, that's true. The bottle could be relevant. Okay, Skull Woods and Hera are 5/6 crystals.
Ooh. Rough death for Pikapals.
Yeah, you hate to see that. That's really unfortunate too. Like outside of Hype Cave, which is 5 quick checks, and without the hammer, you can't take the Dark World portal just south of Link's house. So you have to come over here from Village of Outcasts. So that's a bit of a time loss. However, he will be able to check that bottle, and I don't know. We could see a little. Yeah, I was gonna say we might see a little improvisation here in have him shift up to Death Mountain with that hook shot.
We're all the east side. This is a sequence break through the old man cave, not having a lamp, but this is quite a valuable play. And if he routes it just right, he can actually get a lot of Dark Death Mountain too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes this it's such an appealing play at this point. Even without the lamp and sequence, you have the opportunity to find a bunch of items up here. There's so many checks, especially with the mitts and the hookshot, which is really all you need to check the vast majority of the stuff up here. And again, even as a sequence break, like the items you find up here, like especially the progression, that gives you a better insight onto where that lamp or flute could be.
Yeah, because if you find one up here, you're pretty sure that the other one is not on Death Mountain and somewhere that was going to be accessible. And I don't even mind that this is a sequence break. Don't get me wrong. This could open up a lot of things just in terms of keys if it's not directly progression.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. That's a great for key sanity. Getting those early keys is just going to make clearing out dungeons so much more efficient. So Pikapals heading over to East Death Mountain. We'll get a look at what awaits us in this giant treasure trove. Meanwhile, Swaga working his way south. Hopefully we'll get a look at that Hype Cave that Pikapals died before too long.
Now, Swagger did give us a map check. I didn't catch a whole lot of it. It looked like there was a... I thought there was a red pendant at Meyer, but someone can correct me on that.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at all, so...
Yeah, our tracker starts saying that it's actually a crystal. So we'll just wait and see what drops or what Pikapals lets us know later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we found that many Dark World maps just... So there might not have been much to see besides that. There's a small key to desert. So that small key for desert does open up 2 checks once we have desert access, but we need either the flute and the mirror or the book to be able to go in there.
Alright, and here's the long-awaited hype cave.
Oh,
that hurts for Pikapals. He was close to those boots.
He is going to be very upset when he finds out about those. Other than that, not much in there besides a pod small. Which, not necessarily... There's 6 smalls for pod. You can potentially full clear the whole thing with just 4 of them. So that may not be a big loss, but who knows when we'll see Pikapals return to Hype Cave to get those boots.
I'd like to welcome all of SpeedGaming 5 and SpeedGaming Francais who joined us. Nice big key to Eastern. So with that bow, you know, it is still out of logic without the lamp, but could take care of Armos.
Yeah, and that's still 6 checks, even out of logic. It's hard to pass that up, and 4 of those checks will be in logic. Or no, 3 of them, I guess.
Right.
Oh, actually, no, Fire Rod puts Armos. Well, actually, but then small key. Okay, I'm gonna quit talking, but it's 3. The final answer is...
Either way, Eastern would be a good play.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
So Swagalicous taking care of back of escape, did get that Samaria and Ether coin.
Yeah, Swaga's still missing that hook shot from Skullwoods. So that does mean Secret's breaking up to desert, or not desert, but Death Mountain. Probably not as appealing, so we might actually see a Skullwoods play sooner rather than later out of Swaga. Especially if those boots not leading... Well, yeah, not leading to anything.
And of course, it's going to be Ether for Turtle Rock. I mean, we found everything else we need for it. We just need a few keys.
Alright, save and quit from Pika. I was curious to see... Okay, we do see Swaga is going to head into Skullwoods, so he'll be getting his hook shot before too long. Pika with those slippers now. He's going to swim down here, clear out Hobo and Waterfall Ferry. And he's got plenty of money for Zora, so he'll be able to check that item as well as the Zora Ledge item. Then, my guess would be, unless we find something else, like in Zora, my guess would be that Pika will be heading to Eastern soon?
That'd be the safest play. But Swagalicous doesn't care about safety. Danger's his middle name. He's going to Mothula. He's got the fire rod, so he can get all the way back there.
Yeah, he doesn't have the sword just yet, so unless the sword is in the small chest back here, he actually can't get to Moth.
Yeah, and I think he's about to realize that too.
But that vanilla big key chest and this small chest down here that he's going to grab were skipped by Pika. So if that small chest is something valuable, that could be pretty big.
Yeah, you're right. 23, almost 24 minutes, still swordless, and we got Dark World access within 10 minutes. This is an interesting seed here.
Looks like he's death warp. Yeah, it seemed like he was about to save and quit, and then now he's death warping. So I have a feeling he is going to try to head to the back and get walled by those vines. Wait.
Yeah.
I thought maybe when he tried to dash through this room and he didn't have his sword, it would serve as a reminder. But, you know, I've made this mistake so many times, like, just way too many times, that I really can't blame anyone for doing this.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have gone to the back of the Swamp Skull Woods without a sword and quickly realized why we couldn't go back there.
Yep,
Here
and
comes a
Pika just getting a map from Zora, but a small key for Turtle Rock on the ledge. That's interesting. Yeah, it looks like that would be our second Turtle Rock key, which means with Fire Rod and Samaria, we can make some decent progress back there.
And there's the realization, save and quit, and gonna have to try his luck elsewhere. Probably an Eastern play. But does not have the big key, which we did find up in, was it Death Mountain or Dark Death Mountain? It was up there.
I want to say it was Spiral Cave. I didn't actually see him pick it up. I just heard you mention it as Pika was coming out of Spiral Cave, so I'm assuming that's where it was.
Yeah, it was up there, so Pikapals will be able to clear this out. Swagalicous not going to be able to get to the boss.
We have a Green Pendant Ice Palace, which is very intriguing because we already have a small key and a big key for Ice Palace. Now, neither of those are really required to get all the way to the boss, but logically they are. So, I don't know, when Key Sanity gives you logical access to something like that, I'm not saying that's the move to make right now or even soon, considering we don't have a sword yet, or the hammer.
Or the hammer.
But it's something to keep in the back of your mind. Alright, so they're both heading into Eastern at the same time. Unfortunately for Swagalicous, as Mega mentioned, he doesn't have the big key. So Pikapals is going to full clear this. Whereas this could, and very likely will end up being a double dip for Swaga.
Well, I mean, it's in the team name.
That's a very good point. This is not...
It's
not the time
strategy.
to be living up to your team name. If you can avoid it.
I mean, not having gone up to the mountain to get the big key, this is pretty much the play to make. Unfortunately, and actually it's in sequence for Swaga. It's out of sequence for Pikapals. That whole Death Mountain trip was out of logic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the front part is going to be in sequence for both of them, but the extra checks Pika will be making are definitely out of logic. Yeah, there's some... Swaga definitely got an advantage with getting those boots that Pika missed. Wow. I don't think I'd seen that strat for Stealthos room.
Yeah.
That's some machine gun bow and arrowing. But yeah, as I was going to say, Swaga definitely getting a nice advantage with those boots that Pika... They were in Hype Cave and Pika died right outside, which you hate to see, of course. That's very funny game. But missing out on some other items, namely that Eastern Big Key, is going to cost him some time here. And
Yeah,
also... I did see a Moogle Charm Swaga's teammate in chat mentioned. I was almost going to mention this too. When Swaga went up to Waterfall Ferry, and he didn't have money for Zora, and he just saved and quit. I personally, if I was in his shoes, I would have at least walked up and checked the item on the ledge, even without flippers or like no intention to splash delete to grab it or anything. At least so you have the knowledge of whether you needed to come back there before you got desperate or not. And there was a small key, and that's a Turtle Rock small. So that could end up biting him in the butt as well.
Yeah, that could be pretty big later because it's going to be a long time before he goes back to Zora. You bring up a good point. He did have the bow, so he could have done a splash delete if there was something valuable.
And then I'm also I'm gonna level with you, Lou, and chat. I didn't see the entirety of Swaga's Skullwoods clear, but did he not check the front chests?
He went to the back, and I think that was about it. So he's still missing the flippers and the hookshot, and the bottle, all three of which are in the front of Skullwoods.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that was just like a slip of the mind. I'm not exactly sure what happened. That's unfortunate though.
Realizes it, and he's headed back in that direction. So I'm gonna pick up 3 big items. Okay,
he was gonna go back to front. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's typically how I like to clear it too, unless you're just gonna do what Pika opted to do, which is just bypass the back until you can hopefully clear. Then I'm assuming he kind of was gonna try to go to Moth without a sword and realized he couldn't, got frazzled and saved and quit.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what I would have done in that situation. So here he is back in Skullwoods, and Eastern dropping the blue pendant.
Very fitting to drop the pendant of power in a power player's match.
So yeah, that big chest, just having the compass for Eastern, and then the boss not having anything useful either from the item reward or the pendant, unless we need to grab that pedestal at some point. So, you know, Swaga missing out on those 2 checks might be good.
Yeah, but he probably feels like he might feel a little bit behind just having gone all the way through the back of Skullwood. So once he finds the Eastern big key, he might start thinking worst case scenario. Oh man, Pikapals had already got the big key and was able to single dip this, and there was something huge in the back. Which he did, but there's not anything huge in the back. So you never know what the runners are thinking.
No, absolutely not. We can just make our best guesses, like you're saying. Like, I would definitely, if I was Swagger right now, I would definitely feel bad about having to do what he just did and return to Skullwoods. And I'd be feeling bad, and behind. But also, conversely, if I was Pikapals heading back down to the Hype Cave, where he died just outside earlier in the seed. And now he's heading back, he's going to find the boots. I would certainly feel behind if I was him as well. Exactly.
Imagine his thoughts as he comes across the boots just, around the corner from where he died.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost impossible to, especially since he had to take that warp from Village of Outcasts and not the one right south of Link's house because he doesn't have the... So, whenever you have to do, a long overworld check, or a trek for a check, and you die right before you can make it, and then you have to go back there and you find something very useful, it's almost impossible not to feel behind.
Yeah, without a hammer, that is our only Dark World access through North Kakariko.
And, yeah, we're kind of running out of locations here. It's feeling like there's I don't know. Everything's starting to kind of suck.
The obvious one
doing mirrorless blacksmith, which is no fun.
Well, the obvious one is Sick Kid. We found a bottle in Skullwoods, and this would be great that you can route in Sick Kid and Smith.
Yeah, that's actually gonna be nice. And Pico's got these boots to do these boot checks. So that'll be nice. I'll be able to do these 2 checks real quick, and then hopefully take home the blacksmith and check on Sick Kid. Logically, we do have access to Catfish with the flippers. Like, we do have access to East Dark World with those flippers. So a couple checks in pod are available. We do have a fire rod, but no hammer. But with mitts and flippers, we do have access to a fair amount of Ice Palace, as much as that would be awful.
That's not very fun.
No sword, not at all.
No hammer.
That Cane of Samaria, though, would give the opportunity to check 1 hammerlock chest in Ice Palace. But without that hammer, you're not gonna be able to full clear. You're not gonna be able to kill the boss. So Ice Palace, kind of a last resort. So Pika hoping to find something here at the Smith or with Sick Kid. Meanwhile, Slega clearing out Death Mountain. Oh, hey! Look, a 3rd Turtle Rock small key.
Yeah, only thing we're missing out of that is the hammer. But
well, we're actually missing a sword for that as well, because you need a sword to use the medallion. But boy, with both rods and Samaria and 3 Turtle Rock small, it does feel like the seed really wants us to go over there. We're just missing a couple things.
Yeah, we found all of that pretty early, actually. And Pikapals heading back into the Dark World. Not sure where he's headed. Maybe east side over to Catfish. Did not check Sick Kid while he was in Kakariko.
Yeah, that's an easy location to kind of forget.
Yeah, this actually might be. Could dip into pod. I mean, he's got a key for it, so he can get the first chest plus, maybe a couple more. Pretty risky to do at this point.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, he's already coming over here to check Catfish. He's going to check Pyramid too, so he's kind of in the area. 1 key is not ideal, but I mean, his locations are dwindling pretty quickly. And especially considering our only Dark World access at the moment is that Village Without Castle. I'm kind of the opinion you kind of just want to do stuff while you're in the area. Because if he skips pod now and then finds out later that he has to come back, he's got to go all the way over to that Dark World, or that Village Without Castle warp, run all the way back over.
Yeah, it is hard to make, a lot of really good combinations in routing and key sanity, because things just inch open a little bit by a little bit unless you find a huge cache of keys somewhere.
Yeah, and it is also kind of important to keep in mind that all of that stuff that lets us get to pod, which is namely the flippers and then the pod key, were found on the lower part of the overworld, not on Death Mountain, so they are in logic.
And we get our first check of the pyramid. Pikapals getting the lamp, so kind of snaps him back into logic.
Yeah, that kind of closes that whole loop. So everything on Death Mountain is now in logic, so who cares what I just said?
I care.
Well, I appreciate that, Lou. Somebody does. Somebody somewhere. That's enough.
Yeah, so this will be the look into pod, which you can get the shooter room, and then you do have the bow, so you could save a key. Oh no,
well,
no, you don't have.
Yeah,
you don't have.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where we're kind of checking some of these deeper Dark World checks. Dungeon diving can be a little easy to forget that you don't have hammer. At least for me personally, and it's just like hammer is just an awful item to be looking for. It's so much better to get Dark World access via the hammer than by mitts. Because like mitts just fully block off certain parts of the map. Like you can't do Ice Palace, you can't do Misery Mire, you can't do Turtle Rock at all without the mitts. I mean, I guess you can't do Turtle Rock without the hammer either. But without the hammer, you can do, you know, parts of Ice Palace. You can do parts of, but you can't full clear, and it's really obnoxious. Hey, look, a Turtle Rock compass.
Those Turtle Rock items just keep coming up.
Okay, and it looks like, so Swaga, I'm pretty sure, yeah, didn't check the Ice Rod Cave earlier, or maybe he did, I don't know.
No, I think he did. I think this might be the Ice Palace play.
I think he's going back over to, yeah, to Zora, which will net him a map for some dungeon, I don't remember, and a Turtle Rock key.
Yeah, let's just do a quick recap. Looks like we got a few new viewers in the chat. This is the Link to the Past randomizer playoffs. This is a open 7-7 key sanity seed.
Yeah, with randomized swords. So no, it is not swordless. We just have Pika. Pika? Okay, thank you. You just got sucked into that doorway. That's gonna be a long death. He's just, yeah, he's gone. Or maybe he'll die to these spikes that actually take a full heart.
Yeah, Spike could be a better choice for a death warp.
Yeah, that blue mail means those berries are only gonna do half-hearted damage. Which at that point you could just run out faster. But the spike is a good choice because those do 1 heart regardless of the mail you have. So yeah, they're spending that one small key. That's gonna give Pika access to 2 more chests here, which isn't a ton, but it's something, and they're in logic.
Not so good, but one more, the Stalfos basement.
Bom, bom. All right, sick kid, sick kid. Oh, dude,
we've got
Ice
like
Palace?
2. We have Ice Palace. We got a few chests there. We have a Gina we haven't seen, and I guess
yeah, I
Purple
always think
Chest
about that.
is in logic, isn't it?
Pardon, what was the last one?
Purple Chest.
Oh yeah, because Pika did do Mirrorless Smith, but hasn't been back over to the Village of Outcasts to grab the purple chest. So yeah, we have just some crappy things too. Okay, yeah, this makes sense for Pika. This is still here. Swagalicous did check this front part of Escape here. And didn't find anything valuable. Pika should do this a little bit faster just because of those boots. And also, it might be able to kill things a little bit faster with like the bow compared to bombs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do know that this isn't going to lead to anything.
Probably won't see the slick ice rod throw the guard at the ball and chain guard.
No, that'll probably just be 4 quick rapid fire shots. Although, we do still have the Dark Cross chest in play. Right? So I don't think Swaga definitely didn't do that at the very beginning with like 3 hearts and really nothing.
Yeah, and it's now in, well, no, I guess it was in logic. We did have the fire rod early, but a lot easier to do with the lamp, which we did find on Pyramid. So we have not seen that one.
Yeah, and since this is Key Sanity, it could be literally anything there.
Alright, $5 here for Pikapals, and Swagalicous picking up a small key, I believe, out of Catfish.
Yeah, Skullwood's small too, which are not particularly valuable. especially after already routing through the front.
And the back.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
for Swagga, he did do the front and the back, so. I mean, I guess it means he can hopefully skip that Gibdo in the back.
All right, coming on a few of the last checks we have before we start scratching our head. Dark Cross being one of them. Let's see what we get here.
Just a cute little shield. It's so adorable. You see a little Pikachu running around with a little shield.
Yeah, it looks so cute.
Insert Pokemon Shield joke here.
Hey, maybe we
Yeah,
can get a
we do-
Pokemon Sword soon.
Yeah, God, that would be nice. 45 minutes in. It's always interesting though when you have these seeds that are swordless for a long time. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Pika skipped Dam. I don't know. He likes to do this. I don't know why.
Really? Huh.
He likes to grab Moldarm and Ice Cave, and then do Dam and Egona.
Well, he got the other one, so he's gonna go to Agana.
Yeah, like I said, he likes to group Dam and Egona together, and then the other, Moldarm and Ice Cave together. So it would have been nice if we were like a real efficient play. He could have done was to go grab that purple chest, because he could have brought that down along with him and
Right,
turn that in.
If there's nothing here in Agina's cave, it's got to be Ice Palace, right?
Ice Palace or that purple chest.
Right.
So we could see him go Big Key to Thieves Town. Ooh.
Okay.
That is scary. Just because Agina is such a I don't know, it's such a terrible location. And so like when you find the Big Key to Thieves Town 45 minutes in at Agina's cave, it's always a little bit scary because you go, I don't know, my opponent could have been one of those people that does an early Agina cave check, and I could be hurting right now.
Well, he's going to take that Thieves Town Big Key. Well, looking like all the way to the back. Still no... no, we did have a sick kid check. Pikapals has not done it, though.
No, he's totally forgotten at this point. Thankfully, it was just 10 arrows, so he's not going to be punished.
Right.
But don't worry, Chad, I'll yell at him later.
And only a few weapons here can beat blind. We have one of them. We have the Cane of Samaria. So we're going to see some interesting Samaria strats unless we find sword or a hammer up in the attic or the base maker.
Well, I think even with the hammer, you probably go with Kane strats. Kane's a pretty solid weapon against blind. Would like to see that hammer, though. So we got that Thieves Town small key really early on. And all that does is open the door to the big chest room. But you also need the hammer to get to the big chest. So unless the hammer is in one of these checks coming up here in Thieves Town, that's going to be a stranded location.
Nice God Pixel in the Hellway.
Oh, and there is a big key on Desert Lead. So, I'm feeling pretty good about something being here in Thieves Town. Oh, there's another pod. But even if there is nothing that's like immediate progression, this could work into some nice routing because he is conveniently over here to pick up that purple chest. And then he could take that home and turn that in, and then go into Ice Palace if push comes to shove.
Yeah, 3 more places there could be something here in Thieves Town. The Maiden Cell, Big Chest, and Line. Swagalicous now has the Thieves Town big key, so he's also going to take on that route.
Yeah, I'm sure finding that big key there was a bit of a relief, because as we were going over the available checks outside of Thieves Town at the moment, it was pretty much just that purple chest and Ice Palace. So Thieves Town definitely more appealing than either of those.
Right. Ooh, that's right. No hammer, so cannot check that big chest.
No, and that could end up biting our runners in the butt later. But thankfully, both of them are making this play, and I can't blame them. So, if something required does end up being there, that will make things real spicy.
Alright, these are some real interesting strats when you gotta do Can of Samaria. Place the block, blind will run into it, and you can always do the laser on it as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy fighting blind with the Samaria strat. I mean, obviously, a sword is ideal, because then you just follow the proper script, and you'll do the fight perfect every time. The hammer just sucks, but
yeah, hammer's hitbox is really weird.
And there is a third. Well, it's our second pendant we're grabbing, but we know the third one is an Ice Palace. You know, boy, I have a feeling this is going to end up being in all dungeons.
I also have that feeling. So, Ice Palace and Purple Chest are really the only two left. And if you find a hammer and you still haven't found a sword, who knows? Maybe your first sword is the pedestal.
Dude, that'd be pretty good. I wouldn't even be mad. I mean, I'm not playing, so I'm never mad, but
Oh, I love watching this stuff. I hate playing it.
That'd be a fitting location. The interesting thing about that is, yeah, if we find that hammer, we do have the Ice Palace big key. We have a small for it as well. And since it's key sanity, there are 8 checks in Ice Palace. But since it's also the green pendant and the third pendant, that's 2 extra checks for doing that dungeon.
Yeah, yeah, that puts a lot of value on finishing it out.
And it looks like we're going.
Yeah, we don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah, There's a few things we could find here. We'd really like to see the hammer. And then you just go ahead and say, screw it, we're going to get all the pendants and finish it out. But we could also end up finding a mirror for access up to Hera, which would be somewhat unfortunate, but we do have the small key. That's 3 checks if we can get the mirror. The flute would open up Mire Shed. The mirror would also, unfortunately, open up that first check in Swamp Palace.
Oh no.
Which is awful. We could also find the book as access to desert.
Yeah, best case scenario here is maybe a sword and a hammer. Worst case, like you just mentioned, is probably that mirror. Or something that just opens up checks like desert and doesn't really open up a whole lot more, and you're just racing around the world trying to find something to help you.
Oh, you could find
like
a mushroom.
A mushroom.
That's cute, game. You're just real cute today. Yeah, and then also, yeah, thank you, chat. A sword would open up the Mothula fight.
Alright, so we are seeing Icebreaker, very clean Icebreaker for Pikapals.
But that is hammerlocked. That is a hammerlocked chest, logically. So that's very interesting. I feel like hammer's in here. It's pretty much, it's like gotta be. I mean, book could also be in here. And I guess
yeah, anything leading.
All the things I mentioned, but I'm really just hoping it's hammer. Although hammer could also be deeper in pod now. We do have 2 more keys for pod now.
Alright, did find that big key for Ice Palace in the back of Escape, so After the freezer room, that's what we'll see. All right.
Oh, that's just like a giant middle finger. Just a giant middle finger in a chest right there.
Yeah, I mean, great to have the mirror. You kind of didn't want to see the hammer because now you have, unless you want to double dip this, you kind of have to go finish off Gold Stair.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would prefer to see it, honestly, at this point, because then you can just clear out the dungeon. Like, finding, like, book leading to Hammer and Desert or something would just be so much more worse, because then you're like, oh, great. Now Ice Palace is open to be finished, and it's a heck of a trip back.
Pikapals didn't hit the switch at the front.
Oh yeah, there's the H room, the hammerlocked H room that has the other chest that Pika didn't grab. Whoa! That went a little sideways. Meanwhile, while we were focusing on Pika, Swaga did go take that blacksmith home. Not gonna get much for it. He went back to Link's house, so he might just go right into Ice Palace. He might say, heck, doing that purple chest, which is the correct call in this situation.
Alright, funky boss strats. We had Candace and Mario on blind, and we have Fire Rod plus probably a hammer here on Gold Stair.
Especially now that he's out of magic. Thank goodness that our runners found a half magic pretty early on, because otherwise they would have had to expend all of their magic just to break the shell of Gold Stair. But having some extra shots to actually hit the puffballs is really nice. Especially because the Fire Rod does gold sword damage to Gold Stair, so it does a heck of a lot. Oh, Swaga is a bit unfortunate. He is heading back into Eastern. He wasn't able to full clear it earlier, so he's got the big key now. He can check the big chest, go back and clear Armos. He's gonna get 2 useless items and a pendant, which again, we very well could have something on pedestal at this point. Pikapals finishing up his 3rd dungeon, all 3 of those dungeons being pendants. So, you know, this is the kind of seed where you wish, at this point you're hoping something's on pedestal, because you're pretty much got forced into clearing all 3 pendant dungeons anyway.
I mean, put yourself in Swaga's position. You're at 56 minutes in, no sword. He didn't get the, doesn't know the hammer's in Ice Palace. There's a lot he's still missing. Mirror's in there too.
Yeah, and hammerless ice, like, the reason I laughed so much is, like, when Pika found the hammer in the big chest, is that hammerless Ice Palace is, like I was mentioning earlier, like, that's the terrible thing about missing the hammer, is you have dungeons like Ice Palace where you can do, like, 5 checks or so, 5 or 6 checks logically without the hammer. But you can't finish. And what the frick, man? Everything was in Ice Palace.
Wow. The only thing that could make this better is something on Saha and something on the pedestal.
We are missing swords and potentially a medallion for Meyer, and then obviously keys. But in terms of items, we have really everything we need besides swords. And then again, like I said, a potential medallion for Meyer. But we already saw Turtle Rock was Ether.
Yeah. Yeah, no, here comes the fluid activation. We do have Mushroom still in play. I'm wondering if we'll see a blind ped pull shortly after this. Spent all that time doing it.
Yeah, I feel like now's the time. Although you do need to come back for Skullwoods at some point. So maybe you just hope to find a sword. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what Pikapal opts to do. Meanwhile, Swaga clearing out Eastern, getting his blue pendant there. Oh, Pika, you remembered Sick Kid! Oh, I'm so proud of you. But all you get is 10 arrows.
The important thing is he remembered.
Yeah, and honestly, like, if you're in Pika's shoes at that point, you're hoping to find something. Like, no, by that I mean, like, a bad item. Because he's had that bottle in his inventory for, like, 45 minutes.
Right, and with that hammering, now we do have the magic bat check. Small key to Dark Palace.
Okay, so that does bring us up to 4 small. Now, earlier I did mention you can full clear pod with 4 smalls, but that's only if you avoid opening that front middle door that's locked. And you need the hammer to do that, and since Pikapals has already been there and unlocked it, we need 1 more pod small to actually full clear the dungeon.
Is it 4 small keys if you are able to use a potion to unlock the camera and you're able to hammer jump to save those keys?
I mean, you don't necessarily have to. That looked like an ether on mine. I only saw. Okay, so yeah, we are just looking for swords in terms of items. So swords and keys. Anyway, sorry. Back to your question. It is 4 keys if you avoid opening that middle door. So you could do potion, camera, unlock, or if you just have a bow, you can go right side. But you need the hammer to be able to knock down the pegs on the right side to totally bypass that front door. Yep. And since he didn't have the hammer when he went there earlier, he did open that front door. I mean, you can still go to pod, it's just... And you can check everything besides, like, 1 check. But you do have the vanilla big key chest, as well as the harmless hellway chest. And both of those require a small key for a single check. And then, yes, you also need to do the hammer jump to avoid unlocking that door.
There it is. Oh. 1 hour into the seed.
Oh, baby. Our first sword.
And that was locked behind a forced swordless cold stare.
Yep. This is a heck of a rude seed. And speaking of, we do have Swega in Ice Palace. Yeah, there we go. Not quite as slick and smooth as Pika's Icebreaker, but not bad. He's going to grab that mirror and work his way down.
Still need 1 more sword out of here to... and of course a few keys, but need that sword because Master Sword's the lowest level that can hurt Ganon.
Yeah, in terms of, like, things that we absolutely 100% need to finish this seed, it's really looking like just another sword for Master Sword. Which would be the bare minimum to be able to defeat Ganon. And then we need the Turtle Rock Big Key, because there's no way of avoiding using that. We are still missing the Skullwoods Big, but that doesn't really matter. You don't need a big key to get to the boss. We are missing the Hera Big, which logically you do need to get to the boss, but with a little Herapod glitching, you can bypass that as well. And then we do need the Swamp Palace small key. Because there's a single Swamp Palace small key in the item pool, and Swamp Palace is locked. The first room in Swamp Palace normally is a small chest with a small key to unlock a door. So you can't get anywhere other than that first chest in there without the small key.
Very
yeah,
clean.
We also need Pod Big. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You did, I think. But very clean Landmolus from Pikapals. Swagga taking on
really
Cold
nice.
Stare.
Pika did okay. He's got to be careful. He's sitting at 3 hearts. He does have blue mail, but that puffball will still kill him. He can take an ice fall, falling ice thing. There we go. Okay, a couple of hammer hits,
nice.
Finishing him off. But yeah, he got a lot of fire rod hits in on Cold Stare there, which is really what you want to see. As I mentioned earlier, it does gold sword damage to Cold Stare. So
now he has to go back for that flute. He didn't have the hammer when he went through the H room.
Yeah, it looks like he's got 6 out of 8 checks, so he did skip one other. Did he skip Dice Theorem? There's our second sword in checkerboard cave.
Yeah, I think he might have skipped Ice Tea as well.
Okay, I don't remember what was in Ice Tea. I don't think it was anything that important, but it's not like he's really gonna gamble on skipping it, I would think.
No, there wasn't.
He's got to go all the way back there, which isn't too terrible with Icebreaker. I think it still would have been better to grab it in the first trip around, but since he's already got to backtrack into this into that H room anyway, I don't think that's gonna add too much overall time.
Yeah, so we're still going to see these runners check everything until they find that small key to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we need
just be a bonus.
We need that Swamp Palace small, the Turtle Rock big, and that pod big at a bare minimum.
That's right. Yeah, big keys too. Alright, did pick up that flute.
Yeah, and here he's back. That's the wrong way. That's where having to backtrack into. I was a little worried about this happening. Having to backtrack into ice. It's actually kind of annoying. Unfortunately, taking a death there. And he's just gonna leave. I don't remember what was in there. Do you like? I don't think it was anything good.
It wasn't anything good. It wasn't anything progression. So good on him to leave and not have to go back for iced tea.
Yeah, I'm sure he's sweating it a little bit. I'm sure he's feeling a little bit behind, especially with the kind of the Skullwoods double dip earlier on. And I have a feeling he's gonna be sweating a little bit having to leave that behind. But I feel like inside his mind he's like, I just have to say screw it and hope that it doesn't bite me in the butt later, which it won't. So what he's doing is a good thing. We'll just kind of see where he opts to go from here. I really like the desert and mire play that Pikapals has made. So we might see Swagga do something similar.
Yeah, that'll net him 2 swords if he goes to Mire Desert.
Yeah, absolutely. But he does have all 3 pendants to pull the pedestal and turn into green. So those could be a quick side distraction. But I think ideally at this point you're really hoping to find a sword before you make that pedestal play. Because you now, like, once you find a sword, you can just go do Skullwoods and then mirror and check the pedestal while you're there.
Yeah, he's also got Magic Bat to check out first.
Yeah, and that will net him another pod small. And Swagalicous just didn't make the pod play early. So that will put him at 4, which is enough to full clear pod if he wants to take his time and trek through that long right side twice. Or I guess you don't. Yeah, actually, no, you do have to do it twice. Yeah, technically speaking, you don't need any of the Mire smalls. Mire is just, it's a weird dungeon. And Mire and Skullwoods are both kind of like this, where there's a lot of just small keys passively in the dungeon, like just sitting under pots or on enemies, that give you enough keys to to just full clear the dungeon as long as you know what you're doing and how to route it. So any small keys you find there are mostly bonus. It is nice having one, and particularly for Skull Woods, just because it makes routing the front easier. You kind of have to do some annoying like save and quit stuff otherwise.
All right, what's the play here for Swag?
You were about, or you just asked what I was about to ask you, but it looks like he's going to check Graveyard Ledge. I mean, he's got that mirror. He wants to make some mirror check.
Pikapals using the cape strat. I like this one. You just go in the cape will not consume any magic as if you keep on swinging your sword, so it's a good way to cheese the fight.
Yeah, the cape has some interesting quirks where it doesn't drain your magic during certain actions, or really most actions. As long as you're not just like sitting around doing nothing, it actually like oh wow.
Wow.
We went from, okay, not even like 10 minutes ago, Pikapals grabbed his first sword at the hour mark, and now he's got tempered.
This stupid seed, man. Yeah,
this
3 swords in desert. You got Desert Palace, Big Chest, Checkerboard, and Vitreous.
Yeah, 3 swords all grouped over in that area, which unfortunately means the longer Swega puts it off, the further he's going to fall behind, because that tempered sword certainly speeds him. But thankfully, well, kind of thankfully, the lack of sword will hopefully encourage Swega to go to Desert and Myers sooner rather than later.
Well, oh, I thought Pika was going to do the Skull Woods play, having found 3 swords.
It looks like he's going to go knock out Peg Cave here, which is what Swega is doing. Both of them are going to find 300 rupees. Swega, sitting at 545 rupees, opts to pick up another 300. I have no idea why. It doesn't cost that much time, but it does cost time. And he doesn't really need the money. Maybe he just likes feeling rich. I don't blame him. It's hard to pass up 300 bucks sitting on the ground.
Sure. Money's not everything. Pikapals realizes that. He's looking for those keys.
And Pika screwing up Fence Dash. Don't worry, Chad. I'll yell at him later for that one too.
It's okay to say that. I mean, you guys are teammates.
I am taking notes. So far, I'm gonna yell at him about Fence Dash, and there's something else, but I already forgot.
General principle.
So Pika, if you watch back this commentary, remember the things I was gonna yell at you about, because I'm gonna forget. Oh, right, sick kid, duh.
Uh-oh. Swag can't pick this chest back up. There he goes.
Yeah, picking the chest back up is a little wonky.
Alright, gonna pick up his full heart here. Pika now on his way back to Skull Woods. Unlikely we're gonna see that ped pull. Well, I don't know. Actually, we still need those keys.
Yeah, we need stuff. You've got the 3 pendants. There's no way. Like, the only reason you would skip it in this situation is literally because you forgot. Like, you're gonna go back here. He hasn't checked the back of Skull Woods at all yet, so he's gonna check this vanilla big key. And then he's gonna go kill Moth and grab the piece of heart or something below the bridge. And then I imagine we'll see a mirror for Ped. And now we do see Swega in the mire area. He's gonna go over here, check Checkerboard Cave. That will be his first sword. And then he's gonna clear out all of Desert and Mire, hopefully.
Yeah, mirroring a bit too far to the east, gonna bonk back. I don't know if he moved far enough. There he goes.
Pikapals, 2 small keys in hand. He's gonna kill that Gibdo for a 3rd small key. Just deflect. No, that's just like, that's pure muscle memory. I do that a lot out of habit too. Getting that, especially, I know he was in the all dungeons tourney, the vanilla all dungeons tourney. So, pretty hard to fight that muscle memory. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna make fun of him for it. Oh, well that's interesting. We found a pod big key on Mothula there.
Well, that's a good find for him. Swaga almost went into Mire, did unlock Mire, but is not going to get all the way to Vitreous with a fighter sword here. So I'm going to try and pick up that 2nd sword out of the big chest. Have a bit of an easier time in Mire.
Absolutely. With Half Magic and Cape, you can do fighter sword spin strats on Vitreous. But it's certainly not as appealing as just having Master Sword to begin with.
Here it comes.
Alright, chat. Here you go. This one's for you.
Less for Chad, more for Pika. This is a big key.
It was a sword!
It was a sword the whole time.
Called it! That's great. Alright, so we were completely swordless on both sides for an hour. Pikapals was picking up his 1st sword at the hour mark, and then his 4th sword at an hour and 15. That's pretty good.
Yeah. A huge twist in the scene.
Alright, so now Pika's on Death Mountain. He has things he can do up here for sure. He's got Spike Cave available to him. But we might not see that until after a Hera play or Turbo. But he can go into Hera. He doesn't have that big key, so the best he can do here is the not big chest check. With Herapot, he can jump all the way to the top of the dungeon. He does have the small key for the vanilla big key chest, so he can grab 5 of the 6 items out of here, as well as his 4th crystal overall and his 2nd Pyramid Fairy crystal. So I'll open up Pyramid Fairy.
Gonna check out the basement.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to skip the Hera base when you just have a couple things left. And yeah, I feel like this is like kind of a tough decision point for Pika. I'd have to, if I can remember, I'd ask him about this, because he could have gone over the pod as well. Again, like I said, you'd have to leave a check behind, which is always scary. Unless you happen to find another pod key inside a pod, which is a very real possibility.
Yeah, not something you normally want to bank on in Key Sanity.
No. But I mean, he's over here, he's in a sequence break Hera, which is, I mean, you're only skipping the big chest, so probably not gonna be a big deal, but it could. And we're gonna see a nice hook speed Herapot.
Yeah, of all the setups, I love this one.
Yeah, it's real, and it's honestly, it's not that hard. Like, I think it looks more intimidating than it is. You just line up in the top corner there, and you just go right until you're about lined up with the right side of the door. That's why you do like a little pause or select buffer, and then coming out of that, you just hold down right for, I think it's about 8 frames, but you just kind of pause or select buffer as you go down, and you'll just kind of get an eye for when you're kind of halfway into that pot, and then hook shot in. Meanwhile, though, Swaga did clear up Lammo and collected his first crystal, but his 4th dungeon overall, because it's just one of those seeds.
That was a quick Moldorm for Pikapals. Picking up that next crystal in a big 20. One check left. He did not have the big key, as you mentioned.
This is... I was wondering if Swago was going to try something like this. I'm going to have to say I disagree with doing this, but it is interesting. He's running back through desert here after killing the boss, so he can just reuse this warp. But honestly, I feel like at that point, you can just flute and take that warp, and it's faster. Like, I have never thought to time that, but it feels like that's...
It kind of makes sense.
He did there had to have been slower.
Alright, now that we have everything for Turtle Rock, finally, we can do Turtle Rock.
Well, we are missing a key item, which is I'm sorry, I got kind of sidetracked with the action going on, but what I was going to mention on how this is kind of a tough decision point between this and Pod, is he's going to go into Turtle Rock from there, but he doesn't have the big key. And so also, yeah, Pika did clear out Hera, which picks up his 4th crystal. And again, that does open up Pyramid. And he is running away with this a little bit, but Swega is working on his 2nd crystal. Skullwoods and Hera, when he gets to those, will be pretty quick, so he's not as far behind as the tracker might imply. Plus, it's kind of... I don't know, like, this Turtle Rock play, which I'm not necessarily saying is bad, like, it's hard to know. Like, it could be here, it could be Pod. It's hard to know what the correct play is in this situation until it's been made.
Well, there's a good play. And Swamp Palace, small key.
Ooh. Okay. Well then. That might change things. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna... Okay, I think he just opened up Turtle Rock. I think he's gonna go over the Spike Cave, and now I would be surprised if he doesn't decide to do Swamp and Pod first. So, I actually totally forgot that there's a small key on that island up. Which makes this play make a lot more sense. Because you can go grab that small key. He's still in the need of, certainly that swamp small. So, yeah. That might have been like a situation where if that was anything else, he might have gone into Turtle Rock. But since it was the swamp small, it makes a lot of sense to bail and go clear out Swamp and then probably Pod. So, yeah, the only thing still missing that we assuredly need... Oh yeah, there's a small key in this library. This could be another Pod small. And that would give Pika the opportunity to full clear Pod. As a Ganon's Tower small.
Yeah, Ganon's Tower. You're probably not going to need much of them. You've already got one.
Yeah, no, at this point, by the time we get to Ganon's Tower, it's just going to be a straight climb. And with a small key and a big key in hand already, you don't need anything else for Ganon's Tower.
Ooh, Swag is taking out that powder trying to get that anti-fairy. Anti-fairy got him instead.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. That's rough. And meanwhile, Pika's gonna head into Swamp. He is looking for just that Turtle Rock big key is like literally all he needs to be able to finish. But that could be just about anywhere at this point. Besides, obviously, Turtle Rock big key locked in Turtle Rock. Or in Ganon's Tower. Alright, yeah, powdering that bunny beam under the pot there. Much safer play. That's why you're getting a health refill. But yeah, it's certainly like super unfair and dying really anywhere in Mire kind of Like, especially if, obviously, if you die in the back half of Mire or like die to the boss, it takes a lot of time to get back there. But just like the first few rooms of Mire are relatively slow, regardless.
Right.
So it's always costly dying in Mire, and that can't feel good.
Alright, we've already seen quite a seed here. What's kind of worst case scenario here for Pikapals trying to look for this Turtle Rock Big Key?
What was that a question, or I thought you were gonna? The worst possible scenario at this point for Pikapals.
The reason
And I mean, it would be
that,
bad with Swagalicous as well, but would be better for him just because Swagalicous is like Pikapals built up a decent lead at this point. So anything that could be an equalizer is going to be more beneficial to Swega. The worst possible place for that Turtle Rock Big Key would be Thieves Town Big Chest, which both of our players passed up with good reason. Like the way the seed was laid out, the writing makes sense. Oh, hey, there's that Hera Big. Turtle Rock Big Key being in Hera Big Chest would also be very terrible. But yes, Swega working his way. Oh yeah, he's never got lamp off of pyramid, so he's got to do these Mire rooms in the dark.
oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Yeah, Mire often having what's widely considered like the worst or most inconvenient dark rooms for going fast. But he did get through the first room, which is really the one where you can get hung up the most. But just kind of a little refresher as Pikapals clears all West Side Swamp. This is an open mode defeat Ganon, not all dungeons, even though we did clear all dependent dungeons. Open defeat Ganon, key sanity. Not swordless. It was swordless for the first hour. Pika found his first sword in Desert. Swega found his first sword in Checkerboard Cave. And then he got his... Oh man. I feel like Svega's probably gotten a little tilted over the course of this, or his nerves are getting to him or something. But this is... I don't know. It doesn't feel good to watch. I feel so awful for him. Like I've been here. Like just the other day, I did a seed where I died to Vitreous twice, and it feels bad dying in Mire and just knowing that you're bleeding time.
Yeah, Swagalicous is a good player. So when you take 3 deaths here, it'll get to you no matter who you are.
Yeah, I feel like that what happened right there, what unfolded before our very eyes, is just like evidence that like he's getting tilted, and I don't fault him. Especially because the seed kind of sucked. Like kind of sucked a lot. Just in general, but also there was some things like the double dip in Skullwoods on Svega's side, and then those deaths adding up, like, and in Ice Palace as well. Like it's all just starting to kind of like snowball out of control on Svega's side, and I certainly feel for him.
He is making the right move, though. You could tell he was tilted. Get out of that situation and look for something else. You can come back to Vitreous and you'll be in a better mental condition. You got a blue potion now, so it's not a bad move to just try some other progression. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Swamp.
He still needs that small key for Swamp.
Oh, sure he does.
But yeah, we might see him go clear out Skullwoods now. And he'll pull the Ped, which would get him his Tempered Sword, which would be nice. And yeah, I totally agree. I don't, like, especially if you're starting to get tilted on top of it, but also if you die in Mire, like, it does suck leaving. But, like, once you die, like, Mire takes a little bit to get back to, but it's not like it's Turtle Rock or something, right? Like, it's just a quick flute and a Dark World Warp and a short run, and you're back at the start of the dungeon. So if you have to take a moment, go buy a potion, turn into mushroom, do that check, maybe clear some other stuff, and then come back. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Now, did we see K45? Because it looks like that's where Pikapals is going.
You know, I can't remember if Swagga did this.
Yeah, Swagalicous did do this because he had a problem picking up the chest after he got out of there.
Oh, that's right.
And welcome to Speed Gaming 2. All of us joining us from SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming Portuguese.
Yeah, I guess we have a couple quick moments to actually go over the seed while Swagga works his way through Skullwoods, which we already saw Pika do. Oh, Pika is going to check Pyramid Fairy. That's going to be a new check for us here. Yeah, this was a brutal seed. We had very early Dark World access with MIPS. And then we had Kane and Ice Palace Big Key, as well as Ether in the back of Escape. But namely Kane and Ice Palace Big Key. Eventually leading, we had, Flippers and Hookshot in Skullwoods. So you kind of need to do the front of Skullwoods without a sword, which meant you were kind of coerced into doing a double dip in Skullwoods. And then those Flippers, Hookshot, and Ice Palace Big Key, and those MIPS working together to get our runners to the big chest in Ice Palace to find the hammer, which then also opened up... nice book, dude. Opened up, Flute and Mirror in Ice Palace?
That's right.
So, that was, really the big offender this seed, is you were forced into a swordless Ice Palace to pick up all those items so that you can start going over to the Mire and Desert area to actually get your swords. Because the 4 swords in the seed, there was one in the Desert Big Chest, Checkerboard Cave, and Mire boss. And then one on the pedestal that Swagalicous is grabbing right now. So that mirror, that hammer-locked mirror in Ice Palace actually locked all of the swords.
Yeah, this is...
Well, I guess technically the pad would have been open. With the Cold Stare kill. But definitely just a brutal...
Top to bottom, a brutal seed. I don't know if I've seen another one in an open key sanity in this league that compares. This is awful.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, yeah, just some kind of unfortunate deaths for Swagga, has netted Pikapals a solid lead here. But now, interestingly enough, they're both over here in the pod area.
Yeah, Swag does not have the big key. Pikapals did pick it up. So even though they both have 4 keys, not going to make it all the way back to the boss.
Well, the tracker has it down. I'm trying to remember, where was the pod big?
Oh, there it goes.
It was somewhere... I remember it being somewhere interesting. Wasn't it on, was that on Lambo?
It was...
it was on Moth.
It was on Moth, okay. Yes, Swag just picked it up. That's why
yeah.
Tracker probably hadn't caught up at that point.
Yeah, I was I knew it was on a boss somewhere. Yeah, Swag had just wrapped up Skullwoods and pulled that pedestal. And he hadn't made an earlier trip into pod here. Or did he? Did he? Maybe he just checked the right side? Because that's already open. But either way, he has an extra small key compared to Pika, because Pika unlocked the front door. So Swagga could potentially full clear this if he wants to take the time. Whereas Pika is going to be short a key. Unless he picks one up here, of course.
Oh, and Swag's showing off the swag of the Pog clip.
Yeah, nice use of that extended auto stairs there. It's actually really simple to do. You just have to get close enough to the edge down below and then dash up into the stairs, and you'll clip right through those colored pegs, saving you several seconds of traversing through that room by hitting this.
Sixth crystal.
And there was a pod small in the back of the dungeon, down in the dark basement. So that will be a fifth small for Pika, meaning he'll also be able to full clear this dungeon. Pika opted to go straight to Helmasaur, just on the off chance that Helmasaur had the Turtle Rock Big Key, which is the last thing Pikapals is looking for go mode. Meanwhile, Swaga needs a few more keys, so he's doing the back first.
Yeah, Swag is looking for a few more Turtle Rock small keys and that Swamp Palace small key as well.
Yeah, he needs at least one more Turtle Rock small. There are 2 available. You only need 3 of them as long as you skip the lava chest, the vanilla big key chest. And then you do need that swamp small to clear out that whole dungeon. Which that was in Hera? Question mark?
Yeah, double question mark. I don't recall where that small key was.
This is like, it's so hard for me like commentating like Key Sanity scenes. I can't remember. Like I have a hard enough time just remembering where the normal like items are, and then you throw in all these keys, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Oh,
Floating
yeah,
Island.
it's Floating
Yeah.
Island. Okay, that's Hera adjacent. I'm giving myself half a point for that.
Playing kind of loose with the grading there, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's the benefit of grading yourself.
Sure. Alright, now Swag did the hammer jump, got that big chest, and then may have accidentally mirrored up, because he didn't do Dark Maze, did he?
I mean, he's certainly missing, yeah, 3 checks.
Yeah.
One of them would be Helmasaur, so that would make sense.
Yeah, may have meant to place a bomb and accidentally hit the mirror.
Well, it was just trash in Dark Maze. So, if he... I mean, I couldn't imagine just outright skipping it, but if you're feeling behind, which, I'm sure he's feeling behind. Again, like I said, there's been some unfortunate deaths on Swaga's side.
Both runners pretty stacked though. Have red mail each and at least 3 swords. So Swag did have trouble in Mire when he was there. He shouldn't have any trouble when he goes back.
Alright, Pika dusting off that shovel. He's gonna go over here and check the digs. Again, he's just looking for that Turtle Rock Big Key. That's all he needs to take the seed home. We've got this dig spot. We've got the front half of Turtle Rock. We also have that book now, so those 2 tablets are up for grabs. We have both Castle Tower small keys. We know Lumberjack wasn't a key, so we don't need to kill Ega 1. But the 2 checks in Ega Tower, or as another spot that that big key could be.
Now, I thought Pika did go into Castle Tower. I saw him up there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and confirmed by our third teammate in chat there. Okay, well, you know, listen. Sometimes it's hard to watch two people play a video game.
We kept the logic straight. We got the full story about the swords and forced swordless, cold stare, leading to all of the swords in the desert area. I can't keep all the smokies straight either.
Alright, there's a Cane of Burnout on the Bombos medallion for Pika. Where are you? Oh, the mushroom. You haven't turned in the mushroom, right. Swagga turned that in. I think it was just like rupees or some kind of trash.
So you mentioned a few things, Turtle Rock and the Ether Tablet, and we still have Thieves Town Big Key, or Big Chest, and we do have the Hera Big Chest now.
Yeah, again, especially if you're rooting for Swagga, that's where you want those to be, because that's going to give him the best chance to be able to catch. It is still going to be a hefty order, though. But also with okay, now he's going into the Spike Cave. We'll see what he decides to do after. I mean, that swamp play is appealing, but he does need that swamp small off of the floating island first.
Yeah, so Pika's probably going to check the Ether Tablet here first. Barring that, may end up checking the Big Chest and Tower of Hera.
I'm pretty sure he will, especially with Herapot. It doesn't. And he already demonstrated that he's quite proficient at doing the hook speed Herapot. It's not really worth the risk at this point. And there, yeah, there he goes in there.
Yeah, this is a freebie.
I certainly understand not wanting to check that Thieves Town Big Chest. That's one of those things where you kind of just hope, well, I hope it's not there, and if it is, I hope my opponent didn't go back for it at some weird time. Especially because, like, the way the seed was laid out, it made a lot of sense to do
Sorry for
all
the
of Thieves Town without the hammer.
Sorry for the shock. One of the things that could throw off Herapot is grabbing the drop off of the mini Moldorm, and he did that, but was able to get it nonetheless. And there's your Turtle Rock Big Key.
Yeah, you don't want to grab a drop off of mini Moldorm, like the little Moldorm there, if you're trying to do Herapot with bombs, because it throws off the bomb physics for some weird reason. But if you're doing like a hook speed or spin speed, it doesn't affect that.
All right, so that key puts us into go mode, right? We can finally say go mode here.
Yeah, Pikapals is officially in go mode. He's got all of the Turtle Rock smalls and big key he needs. He's got the GT big, and he's got 2 smalls even, so that's gonna be a quick and easy climb for him. So he's really not too far off from finishing. Pikapals picked up the Hera Big Key in Swamp, was it? I feel like it was like the Hera or the Swamp Big Chest or something.
Yeah, it was Swamp. Alright, able to save this key. Grab the pokey. Don't have to trade a key for junk back there and is able to get all the way to the back of Turtle Rock now.
Yeah, there was Swagga doing that bomb Harapot. Certainly a little bit slower than doing the spin speed if you're proficient at it. But for a lot of players, you're guaranteed to be able to have access to bombs for Harapot. Whereas having the boots is a lot more rare of occurrence. So only being comfortable with the bomb setup makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Just a much more prudent version of that trick because it's always applicable.
Yeah, and Swag was gonna try and pick up that big chest. No big key. Hasn't been to Swamp Palace yet. Doesn't have the small key off of the floating island, so that Turtle Rock big key is gonna have to wait for him.
Yeah, that's again another. We've said it a bit about, or not a bit, a lot about the seed being pretty rude, and that's certainly just another example. You have to come up here with the mirror all the way up to grab that floating island key for the Swamp Small. Go down to the swamp, open up the Swamp Big chest with the big key that was, I don't even remember what that was at this point. You open up that chest, get the Hera big key, and then you can take that up to Hera to get the Turtle Rock big key. So the seed really just wanted you to run all over the world, back and forth, like 8 times over.
And to think, if you had chosen to be the power player on Seal W, this could have been your seed.
Well, I can guarantee you we'd be looking at a very, very different race if that was the case. I am happy with my abilities in this game, but I'm certainly no Pikapals, so I'm very thankful that he's running this instead of myself.
Yeah, definitely a shout out to our 2 runners, Pikapals and Swagalicous. Give them a follow if you can. That's 7 crystals. We got to get up to Gainus Tower. Oh, we found the big key pretty early on.
Yeah.
No game.
You can get your guesses in chat, and then after you guess, go back and watch the VOD and count what check the big key was over in Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, I guess for key sanity, you could start the game right at the beginning. I don't know. All right, Pikapals doesn't need anything else from this this tower, so he's gonna go straight up to the top, through the gauntlet.
Yeah, meanwhile, Swagga heading into Turtle Rock without that big key, those 3 small keys in hand. So we're going to see some checks here that Pika skipped entirely. We know it's not going to be anything like important, or even very likely to be useful. The only like kind of nice item still at large is those silver arrows, which aren't that relevant, honestly, at this point. But I also don't really blame Swagga for wanting to dive Turtle Rock at this point, because you know he's got to be feeling behind, so he's got to hope that the seed sucks more than it already did.
Yeah, it's a choice between going to Turtle Rock or going to Swamp to go to Hera to go to Turtle Rock, and this is right here, so it's logically it's a good choice for him.
Yeah, and I think like finding that swamp, like I said, it makes a lot of sense to do what Pika did when he found that swamp. Like, come up here to clear out Hera, even with the Hera pot, and then you grab that small key to find out what it is. And if it wasn't swamp, like I said, I think we would have seen a Turtle Rock dip from Pika. But on Swaga's side, even though that it is swamp, and that seems like the best play to make, logically, Swega is kind of like in that mindset of I'm behind. Like I've had some bad deaths. I had a double dip skull whips. Like I'm feeling super far behind. So at that point, you kind of just are like, hopefully you just keep digging. You're just like, I'm gonna go into Turtle Rock. It doesn't sound like the best play, but I kind of just have to hope I find something to bail me out. So I can't blame him for making this move here.
Pikapals just slicing and dicing his way through the gauntlet, already past Lando 2.
There was a Hyrule Castle small key in the lava chest in Turtle Rock. I was really hoping that was the missing Turtle Rock. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, so I didn't even grab the Swamp Small yet.
Yeah, he went straight into Turtle Rock. All right, this is game 2 between these two teams. Game 3 is actually going to be on Wednesday. And Swerve, you're in that one, isn't that right?
Yeah, so Pikapals should be wrapping up, barring, you know, a power outage or some kind of awful natural disaster or something. He'll be wrapping up in a couple minutes here, taking our team CLW to 2-0 over Double Dippers here for week 2 of the playoffs. And tomorrow, at the same time as this race started, so right around 10 Eastern, probably I think 10:10 on the restream, we will be starting game 3, me and Moodle Charm, for Ambrosia mode, which that should be fun. And I know I'm personally thankful for my two teammates, Pika and Nabs here, giving us this early lead, so, you know, if I lose tomorrow, it's not the end.
Well, looking at your record, it was 10-4 going into here. Double Dippers had a 9-5 record coming into the playoffs, so everybody contributed, it sounds like.
Yeah, and we were coming out of the Hyrule Castle division, which was like the most hotly contested division. Going into the final week of the normal season, there wasn't a single like clinch playoffs slot in that division, which that was the only division that's the case. So it was a really just strong division overall. And Double Dippers winning the first week of playoffs just proves that, like, how strong they are as runners.
On a game 6, they had a tie.
Yeah, so, you know, we are going up 2-0 early on, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything until you have 3 wins.
Speaking of 3, we are at the end of
tomorrow.
phase 3 here. Oh, there's the silver arrow somewhere in the tower.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. There are 27 items there altogether, and Pika grabbed the pre-mold arm and I believe the post-mold arm chest. And so that leaves 25 spots for those silvers. Yeah, I mean, realistically, the only locations I think really left were those Guinness Tower and about half the things in Turtle Rock, all the things locked by the big key. Oh, and I guess that Thieves Town big chest. That would have been a fitting spot.
And with that, Pikapals taking down Ganon, putting Seal W up 2-0 as soon as he crosses this bridge. And does so. He's going to finish with an official time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, 27 seconds. GG. What an awful, awful seed.
Yeah, this seed. This is like one of those seeds where you're like, man, I wish I could have seen like the spoiler log and see what the game intended your route to be, because it wanted you to run just all over the place, back and forth across the map.
Well, spoiler log or no, your first logical key was either on the ped, or I'm sorry, first logical sword was either on the ped or somewhere in a desert mire area. So spoiler log only helps you so far.
Yeah, like we said, it pretty much forced you into doing a swordless ice palette. Like you had to go in without the hammer to find the hammer, and then also the mirror and flute were in there. Just ugly.
And we do have a forfeit for Swagalicous. Get your GGs in chat for doing everything he could. This was one for the books. We'll see if we can get both of these two in here.
Yeah, they'll be joining us in just a moment.
Yep, we are joined by Pikapals and Swagalicous. GGs to both of you.
Yeah, GG's. That was not fun.
Hey, GG's.
Yeah, GG's. That was the seed.
Sure was something.
Yeah, what would each of you say is probably the worst part of that seed? Because there are a lot of things to choose from.
I would say hammerless ice.
Yeah, like that. What would you agree, Pika?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty bad.
You icebreaker over to get the mirror, and then you're trying to figure out, oh right, hammer can't be locked by this, and then just walk down to the big chest and find the hammer there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's
then
nice
you have to walk back up, or just redo that first part in order to get the flute.
Yeah. And
I was actually feeling so behind at that point. I almost just bailed out of ice without going back in for the flute.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I didn't grab iced tea either. I just left iced tea.
Yeah, I kind of surmised you probably were feeling a little behind, especially after you died on the way to try and get iced tea. You unfortunately went towards that hook shot room that's one way.
Yeah, I forgot that's one way.
Yeah, it's honestly I've made that mistake a handful of times myself. It's pretty easy to forget.
And that double dip of Skullwoods. I've been doing too much swordless practice because swordless. It's open, right? You just walk back there.
Yeah, I was wondering a little bit about that. I thought when you tried to dash up, and then you ran into like the Moldorms because you didn't have a sword. I was hoping that you would just be like, oh yeah, but you went in a little bit further, and then this is kind of what I surmised happened. Is you got a little bit flustered that you're like, oh yeah, I can't do this without a sword, and then you just saved and quit. And were you initially planning on like clearing back to front?
Yeah, that was my plan. And then I was like, well, I don't have a sword, and I don't have a mirror at this point, and I don't particularly want to walk back out.
Yeah, and so that's why you were a little late picking up that hook shot and flippers. So definitely two like items that's you really don't want to skip, and having to go back for the double dip, I'm sure. you're
Yeah,
starting to feel a little bit behind. But like,
that felt so bad when I double dipped, and then like I dipped front of Thieves Town, ran out of checks, went to check Agina. It's like, well, this is tier 0. What if my lamp is back here the entire time? And I get Thieves Town big out of it.
yeah, that was another thing I kind of mentioned, that's like a weird. That's kind of like a weird thing that you don't want to find, just because like you have that thought process of like, oh, like I could have just done Thieves Town in one go, like
Yeah.
and that's like such a weird location that like you never really know if your opponent is going to check that early or not, because it is sphere like 1, and so it's always sweating a little bit. But you both got that around the same time. It was honestly like, even with the Skullwoods double dip, it was fairly close until you started taking some unfortunate deaths. Ice Palace,
Mire.
and then yeah, Mire. I feel like you were probably getting a little tilted, and I don't fault you for that.
The anti-fairy, when I came into the light, that's it's not the first time I've died to it, and I'm sure that won't be the last.
Yeah, it's just it's because you can't use items while you're still kind of halfway in the door. And I feel like is that what you're trying to use the powder, and then it just smacked you in the face?
I actually tried to run back through the door and then walk down, but because you're in the doorway, walking down, it just pushes you back out the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was brutal. Also, though, Pika, I did want to ask you about the death you took outside of Hype Cave.
Oh yeah.
And then when you eventually made your way back there, you found Boots on the
I
NPC.
was not very happy finding the boots there.
Yeah, I had
I
a
was going to be
feeling.
even less happy when I found the hammer back there as well, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, thankfully the boots didn't play a major role. Like, obviously they're great to have, but nothing super important locked behind.
Yeah. It was like, as soon as I jumped off that ledge, I saw that the enemy had made a short hop, and was like, oh god, I'm gonna get hit by this thing, aren't I? And then, no surprise, hops right into me as I'm falling.
Yeah, it was actually that that kind of felt like that with Swaga's double dip to Skullwoods almost kind of canceled each other out, so it was still pretty neck and neck at that point. But I feel like if I were either of you in those situations, I would be feeling behind.
Yeah, taking the death on my way to the pot the first time in front of Dark Sanctuary was unfortunate as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
ouch.
I had in mind to check Catfish, check Pyramid, and check Pod, and then when I died to it, I was just like, well, I'm doing something else. I'll come back to it later.
Sounds about right. Really though, I'm just disappointed I didn't get my first sword off the bat.
Yeah, we were thinking that would be a possibility. We were just kind of joking, hey, maybe it's a vanilla sword. And
Imagine
it's
having
the
a
right time to
vanilla
check it.
sword.
Imagine going from like swordless at 1 hours to gold sword at 115.
I know.
I was happy it was swordless for a while. It's just, not actual swordless mode.
No, I'm with you. I kind of like when you're playing like not like a non-swordless seed, so you know you're gonna get swords eventually. But I don't mind when it's like 45, 50, 60 minutes till you get that first sword.
Yeah, I think
At
if
least
it wasn't actual swordless, I would have done better, because Skull wouldn't have been double dipped at minimum, and
It's
among other things.
But yeah, I don't do you have any questions, Omega, or any further comments on the seed, Pikapals or Swagalicous?
Just hats off to both of you for doing as well as you did, right? GG to Pikapals and Swagalicous, right? I don't think I could have done half as good as this on this type of seed, so GG.
Yeah, GG. It was a fun race, at least. until things went wrong on my end.
Yeah.
Thanks, GG. It was there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it was certainly like a brutal and kind of a rude seed, but it was very interesting as a result. And it was fun to watch you two approach it. And GG's to both of you.
That's where the interesting seeds come from, right? You just got to make it as complicated as possible, and then you get the interesting seeds. What's the fun of getting Go mode CAC?
I mean, I totally agree. But yeah, GG's to both of you. And as I said, like during commentary, I'm so thankful that Pico was our power player and I didn't have to deal with this strat.
What would you have picked if you were power?
Actually, that's a great. I kind of forgot that these were settings that Pico chose. I have no idea. I probably would have just done. I probably would have tried to do like just an open all dungeon seed or something. Keep it simple. I actually don't even know. Did you veto a setting? I didn't know how the whole.
Yeah, I vetoed inverted.
Okay.
Yep.
Good call. Like that's the tricky thing about actually choosing settings is like I would almost be like maybe I should like do inverted just in the hopes that they'll blow their veto on that instead of like vetoing all dungeons or something. I don't know.
No, they veto before you pick, so.
Oh. Well then. Well, never mind. But yeah, I think it's about time to wrap things up unless there's any more comments.
No, just GG, and hopefully Moogle will beat you in the next race tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
I want to make this make this interesting. Let's get to 2-2 and then go for a tiebreaker again, just like last one.
No. I that's the last thing I want.
Yeah, we can't do that again.
I would take you guys just winning the next 3 outright than going to Game 6 personally. Well, actually, I guess if I'm not doing the Game 6, then I don't care. So, but that you guys had a heck of a week 1.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, let's hype that up tomorrow at 10:10 Eastern on this same channel. Will be Game 3 between me representing Team CLW and Moogle Charm for Double Dippers. Other than that, it looks like this is the last race for the Rando League tonight. We will have some more in the early afternoon, starting at 2:10 on this channel, and another one on SpeedGaming 5 at 3:10 and SpeedGaming. But yeah, with all of that, I have been Swerve, and it's been my commentary partner Lumega. It's been a pleasure. Why don't you take us out?
All right, thanks a lot. And as you mentioned, we do have quite a bit of rando going still. Stay tuned for more division finals. Next week, you'll have the conference semifinals between, the whoever survives week 2. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to our runners. Thanks to Star, our tracker, and of course, Swerve, my co-com. Good night, everybody.